came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't.
What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the Drone Camps channel. Thank you for subscribing and happy holidays to everybody. Hopefully you have most of your Christmas shopping done already. I am to the point where I am not maybe halfway done. I got my kids a little tiny two-seater Power Wheels, so they're going to be super stoked. I've got to use my drone skills and go out and find a battery that's going to work with it, and then wire that battery up, probably myself, but I think we can do it. We could probably make a pretty kick butt Power Wheels for the kids. They'd probably be doing donuts by the time Dad's finished with this one. But today I have a black box, and check this out. Not just a black box, but look on the front, Diatone. This is a brand new prototype for 2022 that it's just coming out. This is the Diatone Taycan C3.1. This is the brand new larger motor edition, LEDs, only comes in 6S version. So no more 4S version on the Taycan for next year. Next year we're going to be rocking only 6S. So we have much larger motors. The original ones were 1606, and now these are Tonka 2303.5 motors rated for 6S. So they're a little bit larger, and they're going to give me a little bit more, I believe, throttle response and probably better control when I need just a little bit of throttle bump there, coming across or the grass or making low passes and things like that. Or if I want to just boost over the top of a tree, things like that. If you want to do cinema to freestyle, the Taycan was always the best bet for that. For someone who's looking for something that they can carry a GoPro on and is almost indestructible. This new version of it has injection molded interior ducts. So the last one, I believe one of the first ones actually had 3D printed ones, but this one has, you know, this is, I don't even know how many versions they have now. This might be like the 4th version. But here we are with the 3.1, as they call it, and they have some stuff rerouted here for USB-C port in the very back. It has a cable from the flight controller up, and it looks like it might be one of the Mamba series, as always, and I'm wondering if it's an F7. We'll check out all the specs on the bench. We have some 75mm Gem Fan props on here that we're going to run today, and we're going to crank this baby up on 6S. I'm going to run a 6S 1400 milliamp on here today. No GoPro. As always, I'm going to show you this camera on board. It's a 1200 TVL Phoenix 2 camera, which is really, 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 really nice outside, especially on cloudy Oregon days. Let's go ahead and do some flying, guys. After that, we'll come back to the bench and we'll talk about the Taycan C3.1 on the bench. Here we go.
Maybe mom and dad were right when they told me this wouldn't be nothing. Maybe I should take their advice, go get a life, or maybe get a job or something. Pack it up and head back home, tell everybody I was bluffing. Or maybe I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get loud and they keep telling me that I'm a fool for trusting in these wings. But maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Drinking themselves crazy tonight. Baby, I should call and say, told you I'd be right. Wondering how long it was before you realized the biggest mistake of your life, and now you're paying the price. Oh, is it confidence or confusion? Either way, I feel like I ain't never losing. Your opinion of mine, you know just what I'm choosing. I gotta do this, cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get
All right, my friends, welcome back from the flight test. Now, this is my kind of Christmas tree right here. I don't know about you, but I love the LEDs on the Taycan C3.1. Very nicely done. These are full-size LEDs in here. It's not the light wire like on the Nazgul Evoque. That is a little different here. These are nice. They are controllable inside Betaflight, I believe. They are wired up to the flight controller with, I believe, around a 12-volt option. You can disconnect them if you want to, kind of hide from the Karens, but I was flying it in the backyard today for you guys, and I didn't have any neighbors yelling over the fence, even though I crashed multiple times. And I have to say, I have to make a comment on that, super important comment. It's been super wet outside, and I did have a bunch of tumbles in the grass, the wet grass, and in Oregon, I've crashed before and I've had brownouts because I got a little speck of water on the flight controller. And this flight controller is kind of buried in there, but it's not susceptible. It's not going to be totally guarded from the water. A little water droplet could jump right up on there on that, and it depends on how you crash. But I believe they do have some type of coating on this flight controller because I didn't really wipe it off except for a little bit in here in the interior of the ducts, and then I flew again. So haphazardly I flew again, and she didn't fry, which is great news. But I love that these are injection molded. These are not 3D printed ducts on here. The recessed LEDs look killer. They have some print on the inside of the duct that says Taycan, as you can see, but it's backwards. It's T-A-Y-C-A-N. It's kind of funny. Inside also we have 75mm Gem fan props. I also got a pair of 6-blade props, which I did not use because I thought it might be too much sensitivity to the flight controller for the PID tune. I did fly it on the stock tune, and it flew great on the stock tune with these new motors. And again, these are the Diatone Tonka motors. These are the Tonka series motors, 2203.5. The older ones were 1606. So we have a little larger motor this time for better high-end power in those instances where you need it. And that can be where a Cinewhoop can feel kind of sluggish if they're underpowered. So traditionally, the 1606 motor is way less efficient than these type of motors. This is more of a pancake style motor, and I call them pancake because they're not super tall like the 1606 or the race motors. Race motors tend to be fatter and taller, whereas cinema type motors tend to be shorter but wider. So we have a nice power and a nice efficient motor, and that's what that does. A lot of the larger types of cinema rigs out there, they use what we call the pancake motor. It is a much wider, fatter, but shorter motor. So very smooth and nice and efficient. And they came down cool with the stock PID tune on here. And this is a prototype, so you guys are getting to see it straight from Diatone. We have a TPU mount back here for our Immortal T if you want. We have the Mamba antenna. This is sort of a mid-range antenna. It does clear the top of a battery, but I don't believe it's going to clear the GoPro. The GoPro might be just a little bit taller on the front, but we also have plenty of room up top. We have 8 bolts on this top plate. This is a 2mm 3K carbon fiber top plate, so a very nice and sturdy top plate. Easy to get to. We also have an extension from the flight controller, so they didn't use a right turn adapter this time. Sometimes they had it poking out the bottom and you had to plug it in here, but this one actually has a wire that goes to the back, and on the very top back here, USB-C port right in the back. And I've also seen it routed to the back here down bottom, but this is kind of nice and convenient to be able to get to that right there. I did have to take the top plate off to get to my RXSR receiver in here. I've got my 2 antennas coming out the back right there. I just bound it up in the FrSky Taranis D16 mode, and I was pretty much off and running. I set this up in Betaflight probably in about 10 minutes time. We have standard size prop nuts on top of those motors, which I love. We also have a Phoenix 2 camera, and I've talked about the Phoenix 2 before. This is from RunCam. It's almost like the HD camera of analog cameras. It is a really nice camera. If you spend this much money on a quad or a Cinewhoop, you want a nice camera to go along with your quad. And I have to say, like, this is the top shelf of cameras as far as making the next step to HD. This is what you want. The Phoenix 2 is just really impressive. On the wheelbase, we have 157.5mm from motor to motor as well. We have carbon plate here for these two ducts, carbon plate over on this side, that center plate, aircraft aluminum up front. We also have a bottom plate, that's also 2mm 3K carbon fiber. We've got Taycan kind of engraved in the bottom as well. And on the back we have Diatone Taycan, pretty nice. And these are 2-piece on each side, so if you have to replace those, you'd have to have a really hard crash to break these, because these are surrounded by an extra layer of foam out here and the injection molded guard here. They have 3 struts on the bottom as well, 3 bolts on the bottom of the motor, which I think is pretty nice. They have a hole for the shaft bolt on the very bottom here, and it all looks perfectly lined up. So these are really nice builds. If you've never really bought anything from Diatone before, one of the things that Diatone's known for is high quality components and really nice bind and fly detail. So they're a little bit higher up on the echelon as far as like say, you know, early iFlight models. We're not quite up to Diatone's par. So Diatone's been making super nice bind and flies for a long time. We also have an F411 flight controller on here with 35 amp ESCs. So you can run 4S battery on here if you wanted to. I'm not sure about running a Li-ion battery on here just because of the higher KV 2450. I did hook up a Li-ion to it. It would take off, but it would start beeping. So it was pushing the power system, the amp draw on the battery was pushing the power system to make the system beep. So a Li-ion will not be an option on this one, but it does have a lot of nice stuff to offer. I think if you're looking for something that's a good size and scale, and I would say that would do mild freestyle and cinema, these are nice. Plus they just look really cool when they're plugged in. The LEDs are just awesome. And this would be, you know, something larger than like what we flew yesterday. This little guy was the KT 2.0 from HGLRC, and this is a little 4S Mini Ripper. This one is much quieter. This one is much louder. So quiet quad, loud quad. Depends on how many Karens you have near you. If you're out in the middle of the country, no one around, who cares? Fly the Taycan C3. But if you're trying to get away with flying in parking decks like me and avoid security guards, this one is super cool. So LEDs, larger format, tough as nails for the beginners, and smaller if you live in more urban areas. And then this was also reviewed this week, the Smart 16, one of my favorite micros recently. This one is just so much fun that I feel like I wish I had like 6 friends that own these so we could have little Smart 16 races. You could race this one indoors and do gates, or you could freestyle it outdoors on 2S. And you guys should upgrade this, by the way, to an XT30. That would be legit. I also, in that review, down bottom in the description, you can check out the battery that I'm using. It is a 2S 380 milliamp battery from GMB. There's also some other brands out there that make that size battery, but that's what you want to get. These GEP-RC 1S ones are nice, but just go for the full size 2S battery for little Smart 16. But that is what we've had so far this week, and it's been a really nice week. And we still have that iFlight Nazgul Evoque F6X coming up, True X right here. So many quads on the channel recently, and so much good stuff. It really does feel like Christmas time. And I hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas, and yeah, have some eggnog for me. I don't know if you're an eggnog dude, but drop some whiskey in there, and we'll cheers on the next podcast. We're gonna do a podcast Wednesday night this week at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because yeah, Christmas Eve is on Friday. So I will be busy with my family, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and subscribing on the channel. As always, being fans of drone camps. We will see you on the next one. Happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.